What's up, guys? It's Amon-Rellik the God Slayer, and I am AFK training right now. And you're watching Black Desert Online. Today we're going to talk about the seasonal method to gearing up in the game. Seasons only come around every so often. They last about 2 or 3 months at a time. I negated talking about it when I was originally talking about gear and combat and stuff like that because seasons aren't a constant thing in this game. And I wanted to kind of first address how you would normally end up dealing with progression and things of that nature. But now that we have gotten that out of the way, let's get into seasonal content. If you enjoy these videos, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted to all of the time that I'm going to be streaming and putting up videos. All right, let's get into this. First and foremost, you're gonna want to learn how to do this, which is AFK training. This allows you to gain experience points, both combat and skill points, by just AFKing it. You can basically do this and leave your computer for hours, and your character will do a rotation of based on your combat, based on your class. And I think it's like every 11 or 12 rotations, you will get a experience point tick. From what I can tell, it is affected by scrolls, so you can pop your experience scrolls, and it'll affect that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and end training here. And what you would do is you would go to any major city, and you will come across these dummies, and you'll see 1,000 people out here banging on them. You'll come to this guy right here, Jamie Drucker, and you'll basically come into the shop, and you'll decide how long you want to really do this. Like if you're like, I usually do my AFK training overnight. If I'm going to be AFK training, if I'm going to actually do it, I wait and do it overnight because I do like to go out and grind. So what you would do is you would like pick maybe a 10-hour one for skills. This is a skill one, and this one for your combat. You would pick them both, boom, boom, and then you of course use them in your inventory. And then when you do, up here at the top of the screen, you'll see these books. You'll see 2 of them, and one will tell you how much time you'll have on your combat and how much you'll have on your training. This one, my combat one, for instance, had 13 hours on it at first. But I left my character overnight, and she's been beating on it. She's been beating on this thing overnight. Now, mind you, I had about 60% into level 59, and over the course of what, maybe like 10 hours, about 10, 11 hours, I've only gotten up to 87, and that is because I firmly believe that the experience that you gain this way is not as because it's a consistent slower tick. You'll make experience faster grinding out yourself, but this is something that you can do passively, you know, when you're going to bed, so that you can keep the progression going even when you're not technically playing. So always remember this. You're gonna want to do this, especially when you start getting into higher levels, like when you start getting into like the 58, 59 range, where, you know, levels don't come as easy, because like when you're in from the 1 to like the 50-ish ranges, levels are like they're practically given to you. You can go to a grind spot, grind for about 35 minutes, and you'll hit a level. But you know, especially if you're using your scrolls wisely, which we can talk about in a different video. But like once you get to this level and a little bit higher, you're gonna want to start hitting the training dummy on your time that you're not going to be playing. So, seasonal characters, what are they all about? Basically, seasonal characters are a form of the season period is a form of catch-up mechanic. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to start a new character and place them on a very special seasonal server. I'll open up the servers here. As you can see, these are all the normal servers. Then there's the Olivia's, which are just the growth servers. They're considered normal, but they're the growth servers. But these seasonal servers, you have one for the novice only, and you have one that gives you arena PvP and stuff. Now, usually people will stay in 2, 3, and 4, which is the normal versions of those servers. And you can only use your seasonal character on these servers. So if you try to use one of your normal characters, if you try to like, switch over to another character, it's going to make you choose another server because you can't be in these unless you are a seasonal character. Seasonal characters get boosts to everything. Their EXP gain, their skill gain. They even get boosts to their enhancement chance when they're enhancing their gear. That's why being in the seasonal server is so important, because this allows you to catch up not only in level wise, but it allows you to catch up in terms of your gear status wise. And in this particular in this particular type of mode, there's a thing called graduation. After near the end of the season, you will be given the ability to graduate. And graduate is basically what it's going to do is it's going to turn your character into a normal character. It graduates into a normal character. And all of your gear that you have, whatever you got it at, it's going to turn it into a normal version of that. Whatever it is you have, whatever levels you have your gear at. Now, I'm going to say this now. Most people will choose to either get their weapons as high as they can in the seasonal servers or get their armor as high as they can. I would choose the armor first, because once you hit level 60, which is another reason why I'm doing my best to try and get to 60 right now, you will be able to take all of your armor, and each piece you can trade it in for boss gear. And the boss gear that you trade it in for will be one level below whatever the gear you currently are trading it in for is. So for the Tuvula gear, you want to get all this gear to pin so that you can literally get a whole set of Tet boss armor. And this Tet boss armor again can be used by all characters, and it is going to be it's going to basically jump you billions and billions of grind worth of silver and grind ahead. It's going to bump you way ahead. Now, the cool thing about that armor is that because all characters can use the exact same armor, you can just take that one armor set and just switch it to each character as you play them. The only thing that you can't really share is weapons. Your sub weapon, awakening, and your regular weapon. But armor and accessories can be switched around to different characters. So it's gonna behoove you to get this done. And of course, when it comes to leveling up your pin or leveling up your Tuvula stuff, you'll be given all kinds of these right here, these time-filled blackstones. You'll be given these, and you're just gonna basically hammer them. You're just gonna hammer them. You're not gonna really care about fail stacks and things of that nature right now, because in the seasonal servers, like I said, you're given a better chances at upgrading. Now, once you get to about like Tet, you're gonna struggle a little, but it won't be so bad. Just stay near a blacksmith in any city, because you're gonna have to you'll probably have to because the blacksmith will have to allow you to recover the max durability, and then you'll need to actually not only recover the max durability, but you'll also then need to bring the durability back up to 100. So just stay near a blacksmith, and he'll be good to go. Every so often, you're gonna get certain stones that will allow you to guarantee a level. Like I think there's one from Try to Tet that'll basically guarantee that you can get it to Tet. And if I remember correctly, let me see if I can find. It'll probably be here in your season pass somewhere. If I remember correctly, is one of these? Yeah, this one here is it basically makes it guaranteed. Yeah, so this is it. Yeah, it'll basically for Tuvula gear, for the necklace, ring, and belt. It'll basically guarantee it from Tet to pin. And I think you'll get one for for the armor. You'll get the same thing here in this Frozen Tide. It'll guarantee from Tet to pin. And then, of course, you'll get Tuvula ore. And you'll need this tubular ore to like to recover your max durability, because you lose 10 max. You lose 10 to the max of your durability each time you fail. So you'll need to recover that back up and not let it get to 0, or else you'll have to spend more than normal. You'll get you'll get a whole bunch of other stuff. So you might want to do these. Make sure you're doing your seasonal quests and stuff like that, or your seasonal pass. Make sure you're getting that done. If you want to do quest lines and stuff, you can. I would say grab all the grind quests that you can find. Kill these enemies here or kill these enemies there. Like you got weeklies that'll be like, kill 5,000 of a certain enemy. That's perfect, because in this game, that's what you do. You grind like hell. That's what Black Desert is all about. It's all about grinding for hours and hours and hoping that you get lucky on drops, and grind for an hour, make you a couple of 100 million. And I'll actually do a stream of a grinding session. Me and Snake will probably do a stream of our grinding sessions at times, but yeah, it's like you're gonna wanna keep the focus on leveling and getting this gear up. And again, don't worry about the accessories. Just worry about the armor, and your weapons can come secondary, because you really want this armor to be pinned. And you want to get to 60. Those are the two big things. You want that armor to be pinned, get to 60, so that you can get that the boss gear. And when it comes to boss gear, best in slot right now is for gear in the armor slot is considered Fallen God armor. And when it comes to helmet, is Labreska's helmet. One thing I know is that if you choose Dim Tree Spirits chest piece, you cannot get it to turn into Fallen God armor. But I think the Red Nose armor can actually turn into Fallen God's armor. With Labreska, I think the Geoth helmet can turn into Labreska's helmet. So you might wanna check into those being the ones you put here. For best in slot on hands and feet, bed gloves is considered best in slot, but when it comes to the boss gloves, and muskins are considered the best unless you're going for more evasion. And if you're going for more evasion, then you would go for I think it's Urgon shoes, but it's usually bags and muskins. Now, there's another quest you're going to want to do while you have your seasonal character. This is especially if your seasonal character is your first character. You're going to want to do the quest known as Magnus, and you'll find it if you hit the O key and you bring up your quest. You'll find it in your main, and you can just drag your stuff down until you see Abyss 1, the Magnus. This quest line is extremely long. The quest line, I did it all in one sitting, and I'm still one quest away from completing it because I need to get to level 60 first. But I've completed basically the entirety of the quest line, and it took me about 5 hours to do. It's extremely long, and you're gonna go through a whole quest line of going into the abyss, basically jumping into these wells. If you've been to like different cities already and different little farms, you've seen that every farm has like a well, a water well. Well, there's a whole big story around each of these wells leading to the abyss, basically. And it's basically this game's version of fast travel. It's a quality of life thing. But you're going to work for this quality of life. And when you get it, you're going to be able to teleport around the map. And you'll be shown these right here. You'll be shown these right here. You'll see them right here. It'll say Abyss Well. And you'll see this little purplish welly thingy. You'll need to go to those locations and and I'll show you what I mean. We'll test out a well right now. You'll need to go to those locations, and you'll need to yeet yourself out. You'll need to yeet yourself out. I mean, into a well. Come on, tracking. Don't be dumb. All right. This is the wondrous city of Altanova. This is a frame rate killing. This is one of the cities that kill your frame rate a lot, depending on how many people are here. And I am on a monster machine. I have a 2080 RTX with a water cooled system. I got an i9 processor, 32 gigs RAM. I got way more than what's needed. I got 9 fans on this damn computer. This computer was delivered to me on a pallet. That's how heavy it is. And like running through them cities, I'll get a full 50. I mean, I get a constant 60 frames. But I run through some of these cities, it'll drop to about 50. The lowest I think I've ever dropped down to is like 45. So now here we are. All right. And don't worry, your horse will come with you. But you're going to start seeing this. Like, even though there's normally water in there like that, you see there's water in there and stuff? But you're going to see, like, all of a sudden, as the quest goes along, you're going to start seeing all of the whales start having these cracks and fissures. And when we jump into that, all of a sudden now, we're falling into an abyss. We're falling into an abyss. Literally, the abyss. Welcome to the Magnus. Here's gonna basically be the hub where your quest line is where you're gonna spend the next 5 or 6 hours, and you'll be basically doing work for this guy, who is the leader of the abyss. And the abyss is basically this starry looking beautiful place where there's nothing but water as far as the eyes can see. And I'm not gonna spoil the story for you. It's an okay story. It's long, guys. It's long. You're not really probably meant to complete it all at once, but I ran through it and got it all. So like each time you complete a certain amount of it, you'll open up a new one of these. And these are basically teleports. Like you saw, we were in Altanova, right? Which is in Medea's. It's in the Medea section of the world, Medea's territory. So let's say if you wanted to go back to the beginner, because that was like on a, that was over there in like the higher level area. Let's say if you want to go back to the beginner area in the game, right? Let's go to Balanos, right next to beautiful Velia, where you first start the game off, right? And you see the cost is like 3.8 million. Again, you don't have to worry about the cost on stuff like this because you're gonna make that money. That's chump change. 3 million. That's chump change. Let's do it. And of course your horse will come with you. And what do you know? If you look at the map, we are right outside Velia. Now, we came out of the well here, but if we wanted to teleport from this area to somewhere else, we would need to go to Bartali and jump into this abyssal well. and then we can teleport around the map and bounce around. And you can teleport to all the major sides of the map. Like, I could jump in there and come all the way over here into the desert and hit up Valencia all the way. So there's, but again, this is a long quest line. Be prepared for a very long quest line. So that is probably the most important quest line you're going to want to be getting done on your seasonal character while you're leveling and things of that nature. Another thing you're going to look out for is you're going to want to look out for doing a lot of the Fugar stuff. Fugar is a guy you'll see in every major city, and you're going to want to look out for Fugar, and you'll be able to find him just by going up here, hitting your find NPC, and you can just put in his name, Fughar, hit enter, and then it'll tell you where he is in all the different cities. If you want to just basically click on it, and you see how it brought him up, then we can hit T to just auto path us to the one in Valia, because that's the closest to us, and we'll auto path our way to Fugar. And you're gonna want to keep Fugar on your mind. Keep him on your mind. Keep Fugar on your mind, because he's gonna be the one that you'll be coming to do enhancement quests for all your Tuvula stuff. He's the one where you can exchange a lot of your time stones that you probably have for more Tuvula ore, which is going to allow you to, be able to repair your gear, your Tuvula gear. Also, you can use it for refined black magic stone, which is going to guarantee your enhancement all the way up to try. So you're going to want to get those. Your Vouch cries and your advice for Vouch are going to be for, and improving your enhancement chances to get that stuff to tech. And then you can actually use your beginner stones, the little beginner stones that you probably don't need anymore because you got all Tuvula stuff. You can take this gear, you can take this stuff and buy Naru gear again, because you're going to start off the season being given all this Naru gear. And then you're going to level this Naru gear up until you're told, okay, you can now change this Naru gear to Tuvula. And that's what you'll do, is you'll transform it from Naru to Tuvula. But let's say you go ahead and decide, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this black. I'm gonna take at 60. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on all of my pinned Tuvula into boss gear. Now you're gonna have to take that gear and give it to somebody, because you can't wear it anymore because it's not seasonal gear. Well, you can come back in here, grab all that gear over again, and restart the process of leveling it, turning it back to Tuvula, and having it so that you can continue playing your seasonal character. You'll also get a quest here that will allow you to get this particular item, which is important, called the Fugar's timepiece. What this allows you to do is it allows you to, wherever level that your seasonal character is, and however many skill points they have, you'll be able to take this and copy that same experience and skill experience and combat experience to a character that is level 25 and below. So once you get your seasonal character above 25, you can take that experience and copy it to a character who is below 25. This is where probably the biggest part of the seasonal's worth comes from. Because once I hit level 61 or 60 with this character, whichever way I choose to stop caring about my level, usually I would say 61 is where you might want to be like, okay, now, because like the game doesn't have a level cap, but we consider 62 to be the hard cap, because after that it'll start taking you like months to like years to see your before you'll see your level go up again. Like I think the highest level character in this game, or player in this game, is level 67, and it took him like a year and a half to get to 67 from level 66. Just to show you what I mean by, how it becomes, it's not considered feasible to go for levels after level 62. I think most of your skills in your skill tree and stuff like that will like ain't the highest you'll see them at is like 62 and stuff like that. So like, you know, like yeah, like 62 is like the highest you'll see them at. Anyway, so 62 is like the main cap. And so let's say you get them to 62, right? So you get your seasonal character 62. You can then start a whole nother character on a regular server, and you can timepiece all of that. You can basically timepiece that character and immediately put them at 62 with all the skill points that you have on this character. So it's like having it's basically transferring your seasonal status, because let's say you do that, right? Let's say you make a Dracana level 1 and you timepiece your Wusa stuff at 62 on the seasonal server to her, to your Dracana, right? Your Dracana's gonna go to 62, but it's gonna be the seasonal character now. And this character is not gonna be seasonal anymore, so it'll be a normal character. So you basically get 2 characters for the price of 1. 2, you know, quote unquote max level characters for the price of 1. Now you cannot just keep redoing the tubular armor, the pin, and constantly getting boss armor. You can only do that one time, but it is behooving that you do it, because it will totally bypass all of the grind, a lot of your grind. When it comes to who you would go to for that, once you hit level 60, you're gonna go to this woman right here named Jetna, and she's gonna allow you to trade in your pin tubular armor for or any of your, well, basically your tubular armor for boss armor that is a level below your current level of the tubular armor. And I think she'll also allow you to trade one accessory for another. So you basically get one pin accessory, or as I say, one tech accessory, and a whole full set of tech boss armor, which is great, because that's hours among hours of grind bypassed by doing so. Beyond this, it's also a good way to, like, you know, decide if you want to, take a character seriously, because we can decide, because, like, again, the amount of leveling that you're going to get done on these characters, is quick, it's fast, because you're going to be talking like I think I've only spent maybe a maximum of 5, maybe 6 days playing hardcore with this Wusa, and I got her to 59. So it's gonna be one of those things where you're gonna see a vast difference in the way you level, because in the normal servers, yeah, you level quickly in the beginning, but you don't level nearly as fast as you do here. So, like, this is a good way to test out and see if you want to main a certain type of character, because you don't have to pick a Wusa for your seasonal character. You can pick any of the classes, and it'll ask you if you want to make that character a seasonal character when you create it, and it'll be a good way for you to be able to say, okay, let me power through this class and see if I actually like it or not, and then if you care to keep it, you can, or you can decide, nah, I'll start over. You can, and you won't have to worry about the loss of starting over being so taxing, because you can quickly get those levels back, especially if you decide, within the first 30 levels or so that this class ain't for me. You can start over with another seasonal character and you will be just fine, because you'll be like maybe 45, maybe a couple of, I'll say maybe a 3 or 4 hours lost if you decide to be like, screw it, I'm gonna start over. But like, for me, it was more of the idea of I'm using this character to boost one of my other characters that's like level 18 to 62 as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I have another item that's going to allow me to, instead of copy my level to another character, it's going to allow me to trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this character to 62. Then I'm going to timepiece this character with another character so that I'll have two 62 characters, right? And once the season is over, I'll have those two 62 characters, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one that I know I'm not going to play with for real, or the one I'll play with least, and I'm going to use an experience exchange coupon on my main character, which is a Dark Knight, and she's at 57, and I'm going to basically give that 62 over to my Dark Knight, and then my Dark Knight's 57 is going to go to the character that I exchanged it with. So I'm literally playing switcheroo with my levels here, you know. And the process is going to begin with her, with my Wusa right now. You know, so you can do that. Like, again, you can, you know, but again, it's not something you can constantly do. But this is a perfect time. So I understand, you know, like, I can understand the confusion when I made the video talking about gear and combat and your progression that way. And I can understand the confusion of why would I talk about that when the season can bypass so much of the initial grind. Well, it was because not everybody's going to start playing the game during the seasons. The seasons aren't the majority of the year that while you're playing the game. So it's one of those things where I wanted to get the actual main video of that out first. Then I was going to address the seasons because that's a special thing. Like, it's one of those things where the amount of progress you can make in a season literally can bypass maybe an entire years of grind. Depending on how you manage it, you can literally bypass a year or so of grinding. Because you gotta think, with the boss armors, they're considered best in slots, and people grind for months to get those boss armors. You know, so it's like being able to get a single set and then have it all at tech. That's months and months and months of grind and billions of silver worth of enhancements totally skipped. You know, so it is indeed very, very worth it. If you haven't played Black Desert yet, if you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence about it, get in here now. Get involved with these seasons. This season isn't over until what, February? So you got a little bit of time left, and again, all you got to do is just push. Again, I've only been back into the season for about two weeks, maybe. That's about 2.5 weeks, and I haven't even been like playing constantly. I've been going to the AFK dummies and been letting it take care of the leveling while I haven't been around. I've been spending most of my time actually in game focusing on enhancing my gear to pin. So get in here, get that done, because you're basically being given a free level 62 character to then copy and make another 62 character. And if you have the skill exchange coupon, you can then trade the experience of the one that you don't care about to another character. But I would suggest you don't trade wide. Don't get a level 1 and trade like that, because then you're going to wipe all of that progress on the one you're trading from. You don't want to do that. But if you got something like me where if we can just look, like my Dark Knight's almost 57. She's like very, very close to 57. I got Sword that's 56, Lawn that's 56, Striker that's 56, you know, Musa that's 56. I have a Wizard that's 56. My Ninja's 56. My Warrior is 50. My Guardian's 50. My Hashashin is 56. She's 28, so I can't use it on her. He's 20. I could use it on him. I could use it on my pirate. So what I could do is, and I just made a Dracana the other day. So I could literally say, okay, I'm a timepiece from her to her, and then both of these motherfuckers will be 62. Then I can say, okay, when the season is over and they're no longer seasonal characters and they're 62, I can decide, okay, do I really want to play with my Wusa a lot more, or can I just level her in the this whenever? Let's say I decide I'm gonna level her whenever, right? Then I could use my exchange coupon instead and turn her from 62 all the way back over here to my Dark Knight. I could use my exchange coupon on her and my Dark Knight and make my Dark Knight 62 and make her 57. You see what I mean? And so I'll have 57 for I have 62 on my Dark Knight main, and then I'll have a 62 I'll have a 62 Corsair because I timepieced her with this character. So, and she'll be 57 now. She won't be 62, but at least she won't be one. Because if I did that exchange with her, I would literally be turning this character into level 1 again. We don't want to do that. So when it comes to the normal exchange coupon, that's best used on characters who have already reached a higher level, but they haven't quite hit 60 or 61, 62. Other than that, guys, that's about all I can tell you in terms of the true importance of the true hit points that you're gonna want to be focusing on when it comes to the season. You're gonna get tons and tons of seasonal drops as you go out, especially if you go out killing. If you do a lot of your grinding and stuff like that, and just again follow the path as you get higher up in your AP, as your AP gets higher. Start going to these areas where your AP is like a little bit higher than this. Like if your AP is 90, you might want to do here because you're about 10 AP ahead of this. Because the idea is you want to be able to kill quickly, but at the same time you want to stay in your AP range so that you can, get rewards that are based, that are pretty good to your levels. Now, and so that you can get experience basically good to your level as well. And as you go on, you'll start getting, especially if you go the route that I took, and you start maxing out your armor first, your DP is going to be 300 something, And be it that she doesn't have an awakening, she has an awakening weapon, but she doesn't have an awakening yet in the game. They haven't programmed that into the game yet. So I'm just rolling on the AP that my weapons and what accessories are giving me, and I don't even have all of those, to be quite honest. But and just what my weapons and my accessories are giving me, I've got 205 AP. So hit those zones up. Especially, I think one of the zones I thought was pretty dope, at least at this AP level, was where's it at? Was here it was. It was Tashira Ruins. This place right here, we pulled out a couple of 100 mil in like an hour. Me and Snake grinding together. You could pull out maybe 100 or 200 mil in like an hour of grinding out here, and that's in terms of like just pure trash loot. And again, the way you do trash loot in this game, and I'm probably gonna say this as the last thing, the way you do trash loot is you go to any vendor, any proper vendor. Let's say over here to Clarence.
Welcome, adventurer.
You go to shop. You go to sell junk items, and then you'll automatically sell all the junk items in your inventory. And yeah, it's multiple millions, hundreds of millions, just by grinding. So don't neglect the grind at all. You still want to be a part of that grind, but there's so much to the enhancements and stuff like that that'll be a lot easier here than what you'll find in the normal servers. So get out there, get you a seasonal character started, grab you that boss armor, so that you can negate some of the more painful parts of Black Desert's progression system. And it's a perfect chance for newer players. That's mainly what the season is for, to be quite honest. It is to catch up people who, you know, have just started playing. It's allowing them to catch up to other players that have been here for a good while. And for the people who have been here for a good while, it allows them to, you know, play around and say, you know what? I want to try a new class out, but I don't want to have to grind super hard for it. There you go, you know. And the ability to place to get a whole set of boss armor, you cannot pass that up. You cannot pass that up. That is too good to pass up. So thanks guys for watching. We are here in Velia on the Wusa in a seasonal server. Get out there. Get that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video, or the next stream actually. I think it's gonna be the next stream. I'm Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. We out.